Is it a podcast or is it a vodcast?
Vodcast.
Vodcast, because you can see our faces. That's Carine over in the corner.
Hello, hello.
There we go. So, yeah, I'm not alone tonight. I've got Carine with me. And Carine is not a guest. Carine is Carine Kybers, who has also been on the show before doing audio podcasts.
I'm the co-host.
You are a co-host.
Yep.
You are a co-host.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we've decided to show our faces at last, haven't we? So this will be good. Now, Carine, you are the brains behind Bliss Out by CC.
That's correct. Yes.
Range of artisan handmade oil products.
Yes.
But you are so much more. What else have you got going on at the moment?
So a couple of weeks ago, I've completed a 2-day certificate course of reflexology, so foot massage and point location. And so I'm going to start rolling that out. So that's quite exciting because it's a non-invasive modality. So it really works for people that don't necessarily want to get all their kit off on a massage table.
That's me. That's me. I like massages, but I don't like the whole idea of...
There you go. There you go. So... yeah, so you can still get the benefits of a massage, but you just don't need to be on a table and, yeah, getting the full body treatment.
Oh,
so
well,
I think that's great.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll be doing that. Is that under your Bliss Out brand or is it under something else?
No, it'll all be under the Bliss Out by CC brand. And I'll be building also on top of the breath work shops that I've been doing and sitting with silence. So basically silent meditation. I've been facilitating a number of workshops already. So there'll be 3 things sitting under the brand. So I'll be busy.
Oils, massage and breath.
Correct. Yes.
I keep meaning to come to your breath work things.
And I've even changed the time. So
I know you have. I know you have. And every time you change it, it's like, I'm not here.
Yeah, well, that's the excuse some other people use as well. But I do have,
we will get there.
I'm starting to slowly build up a bit of a regular clientele, and I did do a workshop at the Conscious Life Festival in Noosa and had quite a good crowd and really good feedback. So that was really positive. So I'll just keep sharing it with community because we just really don't breathe very well.
Do you find it works better getting out there in the real world at places like events and you know those sort of like health expos? Do you think that works better than doing it online, like trying to reach people online? Is real life?
Real life is really important
better,
with those events, yes, because you're sitting there with people, you're taking them through the journey and you're giving them information. They can ask questions. Online makes it a lot less interactive. So, yes, it's very good. Yeah,
it can be. Me and Mariella have actually been thinking it's going to cost a fortune if we do this, but we were thinking about getting ourselves a van and kitting it out with all the radio gear, podcast gear, and actually going out to events and stuff like that and doing conversations like this. Actually live at events.
And you know what? There'd be a market for it because I don't think anybody else is doing that or not that I'm aware of at this point in time. So, there's like something for you.
Conversation DJ.
Yeah, that's it. Talk with the real life audience as you're going along to all these different events, right? So
and we'll stick you in the back of the van.
Will there be room? I don't think so.
Oh, all right. So you've got all that going on. You've got a massage, you've got your oils, you've got your breath. You've started a new YouTube channel.
Yes, I have, called Love Your Skin. Mm-hmm. Still looking for subscribers because it's only just hot off the press and I keep making a few changes here and there, being a total YouTube newbie. But I really want to make it about loving your skin, as in your skin is more than just the layer that covers your body.
So is this going to be like totally holistic? Are you getting into like the whole sort of spiritual, emotional areas as well?
Yeah. Because what you consume, eat, drink, but also read, watch via TV, all those things is what you put in is shown on the outside. So, there is lots to dive into.
Love Your Skin. What's the YouTube handle on that one?
So it's at Bliss Out by CC. So basically YouTube and then / at Bliss Out by CC.
Bliss Out by CC. Go over there, folks. Go and give Carine a subscribe over there on at Bliss Out by CC because I think you need You need 50 subscribers, I think, don't you, before you can start doing your own live streams?
That's what you told me. So at the minute, I'm up to
That
shorts
must be-
and videos, and then I've just got to keep on plugging along
There you go. Well,
with your feedback and your comments out there, peeps.
Go and do it. Yes, go and hit subscribe. Not on this channel. Not on this channel. Oh, I mean, you can hit subscribe
on,
here as
do
well.
it on here too.
Do it on here as well. But yeah, no, head over to Carine's at Bliss Out by CC and give her some love. You're also, I'm trying to convince you also to start another channel.
I know.
A multi-channel Carine here. You've got another brand called You Are The, with 2 E's.
Yep.
You Are The Change.
That's correct.
And that's not about skincare.
No. So that is about getting people to really think about everything in life and that they are basically the change. They are able to change and affect different things in life. So
The revolution.
it's about making changes
Yeah.
regardless of what anybody thinks or does. So again, I want to create a channel and do some real deep diving into some very different things from skincare.
Yeah,
And
so
breathwork.
a few rabbit holes.
Yeah.
I've called this episode with you, this first one with you, this live stream, I've called it "Which Rabbit Holes Should We Go Down?"
Perfect.
We're going to be talking about a few rabbit holes in a bit, and we're going to be asking you, the audience, to tell us what you think we should. Which rabbit hole should we go down first? That's what we're thinking. So that's all good. Just a little bit of background. Anyone that's joining us for the first time, Onion Unlimited originally started off as a podcast. This was the channel. Over time, it's kind of branched into being a full-on radio show. Myself and my lovely wife, Monday evenings normally, but it does tend to shift depending on how bothered we can be. We do a radio show each week. Our next one's tomorrow evening, actually, which is a Wednesday. But we have a bit of a laugh with music and not really serious conversation. It's mostly more entertainment sort of thing. But like all radio shows, you always have a podcast on the back end for a little bit more detailed conversation, like a conversation corner, that kind of thing. And that's kind of really what this channel is. It's a bit more of a deep dive. We have been doing audio for quite a while, but now we're going to start doing these live streams. Now, we're thinking, aren't we, Carine?
Yes, we are.
Well, you set the dates. You've been.
I did.
Yeah.
Caused you a real flap.
You did, because I don't like commitment. No.
You went, no dates. Like, hey,
no
we need
dates.
consistency. How can an audience connect?
Well, there you go.
If it's going to be just random, right?
Yeah. That's probably why no one's ever listened to me before, because I only ever go online when I'm in the mood.
That doesn't work.
It don't work.
Way.
No, Carine's gone and pinned us down, folks. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
Yep.
She's put a date for every month.
Yep.
For me and her to come on and do this thing. Our next one's going to be April the 22nd.
Yep.
On a Tuesday.
Get faces for live instead of faces for radio.
There you go. So if you're in the Brisbane time zone, it will be 7 p.m. on April the 22nd, not 6 p.m. She turned up at 6 p.m. this evening.
It was 7 o'clock somewhere. It was 7 o'clock in New South Wales, in Victoria, and somewhere else in the world, I am sure.
Talk about eager. Talk about eager. Yeah, so we had you sat there, didn't we? Drinking wine.
Yeah.
We've been drinking wine.
One.
One
One.
wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, a singular wine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go down a few rabbit holes. I've got 4 here. 4 rabbit holes I want to go down. One a month. You've also got 4.
I do indeed.
Do you remember what your 4 are? Did you write them down?
No, because you wrote them down because we were going through the list.
I wrote them down for her.
Yes.
There we go. All right. Well, I'm gonna do one of mine, and then I'll do one
Flip
of yours,
over.
and I'm
Right.
gonna flip between the two. We'll just
Okay.
give you a rough idea what we're thinking. So the first one I'm thinking of that we could do is, but we're going to ask the audience, what do you think? Do you think we should do this one first, or one of the others we're about to mention? Out of phase artifacts. You'd not heard about this, I don't think, before, had you?
Because you had to explain that to me, so I don't know if the audience, they must be much smarter than me. because I really didn't know what you were talking about.
You're only as smart as what someone's told you before, aren't you?
I obviously didn't know about this, so
Yeah,
no
but I
one's
mean,
told me about that.
But if someone had told you about it, you'd have been
I'd be
really
going,
smart.
oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah.
You only know what you know.
I knew I didn't know.
Well, that's good. That's called humility. That's great. Yeah. All right. So out of phase artifacts, also known as OOP artifacts. It's basically where archaeologists have found stuff that is like really, really old. We're talking like many, many thousands of years old, and it's like way ahead of its time. All right. So one example is the Baghdad battery. So they found it in Baghdad. I believe it's about 2,000 years old. It's a terracotta pot that they found, and it had like a metal rod in it, and it had acid inside. I think it was some sort of like lemon juice or something like that, and a bit of copper in there.
Copper.
A bit of copper was in there, and when they put a voltage meter onto this thing, it's 2,000 years old. It still had a voltage in it. Not sure what it was. It wasn't very high.
Fascinating.
Something like 1.5 volts or something like that. It was basically just the equivalent of like an AA battery, but the size of a water jug. But it's an interesting one because over the years, they've found archaeologists have found things that they seem to be electroplated. You know, like metals have had like a very thin layer of gold or something else over the top of it.
Yep.
And they've
gilding.
Electroplating. They've sort of wondered how
gilding, is it? Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not been sort of painted on or rubbed on. This has been adhered to using electrolysis.
Right.
And and the questions, or you know how you get like I'm not quite sure how it works. We'll have to look into this, but you put like you have a glass full of acid or some chemical, I think, not sure what it is, and you have like a couple of rods in, and you put like gold flakes or metal flakes sort of or gold nitrate or something like that, silver nitrate, for example, into the mix. And then you put an object into the liquid, and then you apply a voltage charge to the liquid through a couple of pins, and through some sort of chemical electrode process, the little flakes in the liquid actually adhere to the metal.
This is going to involve quite a bit of research here.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about.
Clearly, you know, and I know nothing about this.
I know is I read it in a book somewhere, so I'm going to have to go and do a bit of digging. But,
okay,
but they've sort of like looked at these things and oh, that's interesting. How did they manage to do that if they didn't have electricity? And then, of course, they found evidence that they did. Yeah. So maybe not sort of electricity to power, your house or your car or something like that, but certainly some level of electricity there.
Interesting.
There's another one actually, the out of phase artifacts. They found I'm not sure if it might be a fossil or something like that. It's like a fossilized computer. It's like really, really teeny tiny, very, very intricate cogs in like a fossilized rock, which is also like, I don't know how old, hundreds of years old, way before we had, Charles Babbage, his mechanical computer, that was like the first modern computer. But this is like way earlier. I think this is like in times like Grecian times. And not too long ago, they've done some spectral analysis or something like that, where they can scan through the rock, and they've managed to like figure out what all these cogs would have looked like in the past. And then someone's actually gone and built it.
Right.
They've built a replica, and it turns out it's some astronomical thing where it like plots the movements of the planets and the moons.
There you go. Very clever.
And they shouldn't have been able to do that.
But who's saying they should not have been able to do that?
Exactly. So
maybe people were much smarter than we give them credit for.
Well, I think they may well have been. So that's my first one. That's OOP artifacts. That's my first contribution.
Okay, right.
If you think that's a good one, give us a thumbs up on that one.
Straight over
All
my
right.
head.
So yours are a lot more humane than mine. The first one you suggested was, let me remind you, nature of friendship. Tell me all about that. What do you want to talk about there?
So nature of friendship is there is friendships there, but they evolve and change over time. So whether it's childhood friendships and then people grow up and have different experiences, and then you have friendships as adults, and then there's, you're later in life and they change. And also the reality is, like anything in life, your view of what a friendship is and my view of what a friendship is can actually be completely different. So, because have you ever had a friendship where you thought you were friends with someone and then you're not? Or you were talking to your friends all the time because you were sharing experiences, and then you might have moved towns or cities or countries and you just don't talk to them anymore. Whereas you used to see them all the time. Or when you used to go and do functions together or have fun times together, and then someone gets a partner or they get married or have kids, and next minute, for some reason, it seems like you never had a friendship because whatever you had in common was no longer there. And then you've also got the type of friendships where a friend just disappears. And I've had that a couple of times in life where they were there one day and then they are literally just not there the next, and you've got no idea.
No explanation as to why
explanation. And so I think sometimes we have an idea of what a friendship is, but it's only our perception of it. And I think it might be an interesting subject to talk about and go, okay, well, what does friendship really look like?
I agree. And I think if we're talking about that, we're going to have to dig into, as well, you mentioned about shared interests. I realised that I used to be very religious. I was in a religious environment. And it was very insular when it came to friendships. It was like you're only friends with the people like in your group kind of thing. Don't look outside of it. I did have one friend that was outside of the group, lovely guy, and I'm still friends with him. Interesting. But the as soon as I stopped being religious,
you had nothing in common.
It all just evaporated, and it's like, oh, okay. Was that really friendship?
Well, this is it. And it's the same as, I've had friends that you'd spend every weekend going out with, clubbing, partying, see them during the week. You like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And then everything is a shared moment. But then the moment one of you takes a slightly different path because you don't want to do the same things anymore, the nature of friendship completely changes. But also the friendship of that person that you're friends with, they change as well. So it's not just you that's changing within that friendship, it's reciprocated by the other person. And sometimes a friendship will change and you don't know about it, as in it's happening to the other person. You just haven't caught up yet.
So that would be an interesting one to talk about, as to whether friendships are... Is it just some sort of like attraction between two people who go, oh, I really enjoy being with you? Or are friendships dependent on shared interests? Is it possible to be like a really good friend and have absolutely nothing in common?
Well, this is a very good subject.
This
is why I'd love to do a deep dive into that.
I might get really depressed though, because I might be thinking about the band I used to be in. I had a band, or I had a band, and I was the only one in the band that was married. With like 3 kids at the time, right. and I really made the effort. I was married with 3 kids, but I still showed up for rehearsals.
So maybe it was the band, not the friendships.
Well, what happened was we had a brilliant band. We were doing really, really well. And then one by one, each band member got married.
And disappeared.
And they all quit. And there's like Billy No Mates here, like playing on stage on his own.
And this is where nature of friendship. We don't always align, and we don't perceive friendship to be the same for all parties.
absolutely.
Different meaning for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe their marriages were more important than the music.
Maybe.
Maybe so. Who knows? There we go. So that's your contribution.
Yeah.
Nature of friendships.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Back to mine. It just shows you how weird my thinking is, really, because mine is societal tipping points. There is a theory, and I think it's largely debunked, but I still believe it. It's called the 100th monkey. Have you heard that one?
I have. Yes.
Yeah. So the idea with the 100th monkey is that you've got a monkey and you train it to do something in isolation, and then you get another one to do the same thing and another one in isolation. This is not sort of all around the world. You just get yourself a few monkeys and train them to do something.
And I don't agree with that monkey training stuff, right?
Well,
being vegan, that would just not even be part of mine.
I assume this would be highly offensive to you.
Exactly, it is. It is. Monkey training is not my gig.
Absolutely. You had to sit and watch us because you arrived early
for dinner.
You showed up while we were eating our chicken. I felt really guilty. But nevertheless,
I said nothing.
You didn't. No, you didn't.
Made no comment.
But what we are going to do from now on, because this is the kind of guy I am, these are the sacrifices I'm willing to make for this friendship.
Them's the fighting words here.
If you turn up early,
right.
On when was it? April the 22nd.
Yeah. When I think it's meant to be 6 o'clock.
Right. Well, if you turn
really
up early, we'll have dinner for you, and it'll be a vegan dinner. How's that for you?
Excellent. Sounds great. Yes.
All right. So 100 monkeys. If you don't like your monkeys, you're not going to like this, because there's 100 of them that they train.
Exactly.
And then at the point where there's 100 monkeys being trained, that 100th monkey has a knock-on effect, and not only does it affect all the other monkeys, it actually goes on to affect every monkey in the world that isn't even in close proximity to them.
I reckon I want to be that 100th monkey.
Something like collective consciousness.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So my question is, if you can get an idea, a meme going in people's consciousnesses, is there a moment in the collective conscious, I don't know, 100 people, 1,000 people, where all of a sudden that becomes the norm for society?
And there's plenty of them. We've seen it in the last few years and even the last century. It doesn't actually take that much. So, yeah.
So maybe we could examine a few tipping points. Yes. And, what was it? What was the moment that just sort of
went from
pushed
one
it
to
over
the other
edge?
Yep.
Where, the whole of society is thinking one way, and then the next day they're all thinking something completely different.
Yeah.
I think that would be an absolutely fascinating episode to do. Just a little reminder, if you haven't already, go and hit that little subscribe thing there. Look, Carine's got her thumbs up there.
That's right. Don't do the thumbs down.
No. Do the thumbs up and hit the old bell icon. And not just here, not just Onion Unlimited.
I need help.
She does. She needs 50 new subscribers. Go over to @BlissOut by CC and give her a bit of love over there.
That's it.
All right, back to yours then. Placebo Nocebo.
Yes.
Is your contribution placebo nocebo? Fascinating. What's that all about?
Yeah. So placebo is you believe or you get told something or you take a medicine of some kind and you are told it's going to heal or change, yet it actually is a pretend. So it's the mind then that can actually change or heal.
Does that include homeopathy? Or do you think there's something in that?
Well, homeopathy is something different again, but it's using the energy of a plant and it's diluted and diluted and diluted. So in some people's minds, it might be a placebo in a way because you literally are not taking that herb or that plant because it's been distilled so many times. In a way, it is the energy of that plant. So, I'd have to do more research on it, but it kind of sits a little bit along there. And then the nocebo.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's nocebo? I never heard of that before.
Opposite of the placebo. So basically nocebo is something is proven to work. So it could be a medicine, could be a herb that is proven to work, but you are told it's not going to work or you believe it's not going to work. So it means it isn't going to work. So if someone says you are unwell, but this will help you, and you go, there's no way that will help me, then it won't help you. Whereas the placebo is you're unwell, there is nothing that can help you, and you go, yes, there absolutely is, and then you actually get better. So it's a plus and a minus, and it's all created by the mind.
Placebo nocebo.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting, because reason I mentioned that is many years ago, I when I was young, actually, when I was just a kid, early teens, I had some really severe mental health issues. I had like serious depression, really, really bad. And the doctors tried everything. I mean, I was on tranquilizers and they tried therapy and all sorts of stuff, Nothing worked. And then someone said to my mum, you should go across this homeopathy clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me these little white tablets, like they're called, Mum used to call them tissue tablets. I don't know if that's the correct term. But they didn't taste of anything. They just melted on your tongue. And
That's
it was
right.
like,
Yep.
was I even really taking anything? I don't know.
Well, you were, because it's a drop. It's a minuscule drop of something that's been distilled through a process that's been distilled. So it is taking the energetic essence of whatever it is that was distilled.
It was interesting because I did actually get better quite quickly after that. And I don't know if that was, just a mental thing, or whether it was just the fact that I was actually having a break from all the drugs that they were giving me.
You'll never know, because at the end of the day, it's your mind. Maybe you believed that could help finally, or maybe it was that break of all the other things that you were given and you just went, I've had enough.
Well, I remember my mum used to say when she gave them to me, she said, this will make you better.
And maybe you believed her this time.
So maybe I believed her this time. Yeah, tried everything else. So
that's right.
Placebo nocebo, that's your offering. And I think we'll be going down some rabbit holes there. I'm surprised you go down rabbit holes if you're a vegan.
Oh, I like a good hole with rabbits going down it.
Oh, yeah. As long as you're not eating them.
No.
Don't eat them.
No, don't. We'll
don't
never
eat the little fluffy
never
bunnies.
hurt them, never do anything with
Actually,
them.
you'll be proud of me. Rabbits are the one things that I have never eaten rabbit meat, because I had a rabbit as a kid. And the idea of eating my rabbit, a terrible idea.
Oh,
yeah,
no, you're going to trigger point me.
Oh, God. Okay.
No, let's not talk about
dogs and cats and all this sort of thing.
Yeah, and cows and pigs and,
well,
birds
exactly,
and also,
exactly. Yeah.
Stop.
Hang on. All right. So let's talk about butterflies instead. So my offering is the butterfly effect.
Mm-hmm.
What do you understand as a butterfly effect?
So it's basically an analogy of the flapping of the wings of a butterfly, and it could be many miles away, the other side of the place that we live in, and it ripples, and it picks up strength and energy, and it can actually cause a tsunami somewhere else. So from something really tiny and minuscule, something big and large can happen.
Absolutely. So that is the butterfly effect as it's understood. Now, if you get into that into more detail, if you go down to the quantum level and you think about quantum repercussions, okay, so we're talking about quarks and everything. If you knew every position and state of every quark in the universe, if you knew every state of every atom in the universe, you could actually predict what was going to happen next. I mean, obviously, this is only a thought experiment. It's not possible to know all that data. But the fact is, if you change one little bit in that system, nothing stands on its own, does it?
It will all change.
Everything
if you change one thing, that's why you can't go back. Like they say, you can go back and change the past. But if you change the past, it changes everything in the now, which will then also change everything in the future.
So that sort of brings us back around. We've done this before on our audio podcast where we talked about the nature of free will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is the position that we're in at this moment in time, is this just a butterfly effect? Is this a result of something that started right at the very beginning?
And you know what? That is a very good discussion and a deep dive rabbit hole. Yes, because I think every action we take has a reaction, and we live through the multiple layers of actions. And that's every one of us. So then it becomes a communal layered
Well, yeah, and we're back to societal tipping thoughts.
That's it, exactly.
Tipping points. Like if I start thinking in a certain way, and so do you.
Yep. So, then we're rolling.
Now, there's a thing as well. You know, like thinking. You know, when you have a thought, and we go, "Oh, that's very abstract." It's just something that happens in your brain.
Someone else is having a thought exactly the same somewhere else.
Well, they might be. That's a very good point.
Yep.
But that's not the point I was thinking about.
Okay.
The point I was thinking about is when you think, there are actually chemical electro charges happening in your brain, aren't there?
Yep.
You can actually map it.
Yep.
You can map it. So just by having a thought, if I start thinking about something now, there's movement in my brain at an atomic level.
Yes, and there's me just trying to keep the eyes on the camera. Like my brain is just firing like crazy.
Yeah, but the thing is, like as you're having that thought, there's stuff happening in your head, isn't it?
Yes,
and it's not just abstract; it's actually having a physical effect.
Yes, it is
on the atoms in your noggins up here.
Yep.
And this is attached to the outside world.
That's right, and it's sending energy waves outwards.
There you go. Yep. So every thought that you have could actually be having
an effect
somewhere.
Yep. It does. I'm sure it does. Yeah, you've got to be careful of what you think of.
Be careful what you think of.
Yep.
And who you think of.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's mine, the butterfly effect,
okay.
And quantum entanglement and all that sort of thing. Yep. Right, back to yours now.
Back to mine.
Oh, yours are all like really nice, humane things. Your next one's all about breathing, which is, of course, necessary.
Yes.
The power of breath.
And it's something that I'm now starting to do workshops and events with, because part of having had quite a stressful job and being on call a lot of times, you are operating in an elevated stress level, basically. So it's fight and flight, which can become quite normal in the West, which means we shallow breathe, we get quite disconnected from our bodies, and that affects us mentally and physically. So you can get quite unwell because you're not breathing properly. You're not getting the right oxygen through your body. You can get brain fog, not sleep properly. So the breath is super important. And so it's connecting back into your body. The yogis in India that, have been practicing it for thousands of years, and Tibetan monks and so forth, they have been doing it and they've discovered the power of the breath and what your body can do with that. So, I'm quite passionate about it.
And you're doing breath work workshops, aren't you?
Yes, and I wouldn't necessarily call them breath work, because there's this real big movement right at this stage where there's lots of different facilitators and they're talking about, doing circular breathing and breath work in a way where you go on to journeys and have different explorations. I want to keep it way more simple than that, because that's next level.
Yeah.
If you want to have an extra body or some kind of psychedelic experience through how you breathe, that's wonderful. But most of us, I think, at this point in time are just not there. We don't even breathe properly. So it's about connecting people back to finding more stillness, more calmness, landing in who they are and feeling more energized, alive.
So here's a question for you then.
Yep.
Right, I've always had a problem with breathing in general. I really struggle to breathe. Like my nose always feels really blocked up. It's better since I've lived in Australia. When I was in the UK, I couldn't breathe hardly at all. And I've had to take nasal sprays and all these sort of things just to be able to sleep at night, in order to be able to breathe. Is there anything that can be done kind of apart from, sticking chemicals up your nose or having your nose done? Is there anything you can do to train yourself?
There is. Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many emotions attached and blockages around the breath or the lack of. Like, I have gone through phases in life where I'm an asthmatic, but also I can get short of breath or get asthmatic feelings and episodes.
Yep.
Through stress, through tension, through not being able to express myself. So you hold your breath.
Yep.
Or you feel like someone's sitting on your chest. You can work through that with breathing techniques, because a lot of times it's actually caused by your emotions and you end up in fight or flight. and you don't realize it. So it's about how do you actually connect to your breath by counting in a lot of ways and listening and tapping in and taking deeper breaths in and deeper breaths out, that your body will get the oxygen it needs.
Oh, right, yes.
And diet also has a lot to do with things, especially if you end up with blocked sinuses, because a lot of times people have reactions to the food they eat and the environment they live in. So it's multi-layered.
Environment was definitely a thing. You know, when I was in the sunny Britain. Not
grey for 6 months of the year at least.
It's like just so wet all the time. Damp and cold.
Yes.
When I moved here, like instantly
things are better.
Things were better.
Yeah. Yeah. But diet and then also how much you breathe in, but also how much you expel back out.
Does it make a difference whether you breathe through your nose or your mouth?
That makes a huge difference.
Does it?
Yep. That's why I'd love to do a deep dive on all of that, because we are designed to breathe in and out through our nose.
Well, you oh, okay. Well, you I'm learning things already. All right. Okay. Well, that's absolutely awesome. Right, we're just going to take a break at this point, just to mention we will be back with some more suggestions for future shows in just a moment. But just want to mention very quickly some exciting news this week. Onion Unlimited, the radio show, has launched a brand new initiative called Onion Unlimited, The Hub. In fact, it's called The Hub with an exclamation mark at the end. It's all about shouting, in particular, shouting out. Onion Unlimited, The Hub, was set up as a way to bring a few people together that we know. We just realised recently that we know so many talented creative individuals, yourself included, doing artisan products. Also, musicians, we know painters, we know people that are creating all sorts of things, crocheting and I don't know, photography and all these like really creative things. And a lot of times when you're running a radio show or a podcast like this, you're just constantly banging on about your own stuff all the time, aren't you? I've written a new book or I've written a new song, And it just dawned on me actually the other day, that could be a little bit tedious sometimes.
Spread out.
Yeah. So what are you doing for other people other than like telling everyone, go and buy my book, you know? And we thought, is there anything we could actually do to use our platform to actually bring a few of these people together? So, we've released, it's a Facebook group. It's called Onion Unlimited, The Hub, with an exclamation mark at the end of it. Go along, join it if you're creative, or if you like looking at creative things. And if you've got anything that you create, photography, artwork, books, artisan
Excel
products,
spreadsheets.
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, my wife did. My wife did go on earlier today and say, "Does an Excel spreadsheet count?"
You can be creative with that.
Do you reckon?
Well, I'm not very good at doing them. I'm improving all the time, so I actually think you need some creative thinking to learn how to do them.
Well, if you can make a beautiful spreadsheet, upload it to the group, and we'll tell you.
Yeah.
We'll tell you if it is or not. Okay. We've already got. I mean, it's already got traction. It's only been going a day, and like people are flocking in, like with all their creative stuff, saying, "Oh, I did this and I did that," and and the idea is shameless self-plugging. Come and plug yourself. That's the idea. And what we'll do. We've set up this kind of space where you can get away from all the religion and politics and nonsense in the world that often divides people. Come together on something that often brings people together, and that is creativity. Yes. Share your stuff, shamelessly self-plug it. We don't mind you doing that. But primarily, encourage other people. So when you see something, you go, that's really good. Tell them. Yep. Yeah?
Yeah, don't break people down because we do that enough ourselves.
Yeah, no, it's not that kind of group. And if you're naughty and you start doing that, you'll get expelled off the group. You'll get booted off. And if you start turning it into a forum to discuss controversial subjects, that you'll also get booted off. That's not what that's for.
No.
If you want to talk controversy, come on here. come
a
down the
guest.
rabbit hole.
And become a guest.
Come on here. Come and talk about it. But
That's
that's what the hub is for. It's a place just to get away and enjoy each other's creativity. So head over to Onion Unlimited, the hub.
Yay!
With an exclamation mark and join in there. Now, you are on there. You've joined.
I am, yes.
And you've already started plugging your stuff.
Well, you said tell me about you and share it.
Plug away. So what have you uploaded? Was it your oils, I think, wasn't it?
So basically, I put it out there that I make skincare. So handcrafted artisan skincare, which is cruelty-free, vegan, and does work. So
it does work, yeah. Because
it does work.
It does because I've bought some of your stuff,
and it's
for my
really simple to use. It's very natural, very basic, but it has results. So that's one component. Then, as I mentioned before, reflexology now. So I really want to start working with people on doing foot therapy massages and including hands, and then also continue with these workshops where it's exploring the breath. And also sitting with silence, because we actually don't allow ourselves to sit with ourselves, because so much creativity actually comes from taking time out and not just constantly be busy all the time. If you sit and connect to self by sitting still, you can let that creativity also flow. So I think that's a really cool
So you're
thing
encouraging creativity
100%, because we all have a creative side to us. We just suppress it, we block it, we don't think we've got a talent, we got told we've got no talent in some cases for some people, which is really sad. So that's the three things. And then my one YouTube channel for now, which is called Love Your Skin. And then I do want to start that second YouTube channel as well, which you are the change. So the only one that can change is you, nobody else. And your actions can influence someone else potentially to change. So that was my plug.
It's all about positivity. And
yes.
Yeah. And the great thing is as well, this upload your workshops, upload your events, upload your new products. Tell us all about what you've been creating, your paintings and your photography and your music and your reflexology, everything. Tell us all about it, yeah? And because we've got a radio show that goes out every week, if we can be bothered, what we'll
Talk
do...
to Mariella about
exactly,
that.
yeah. And what we're going to do is we're going to dip into the hub, with an exclamation mark, and we're going to pull out a few of those each week, and we're going to plug you.
Nice one.
Yeah. And it ain't going to cost you any money. We're not
Which
about
is great.
It. Yeah.
Sharing is caring and caring is sharing.
Is caring. All right, okay, super duper. Let's get back to that then. So, where did we get to? Power of breath. All right, my last one.
Number 3, we are at
No. I've done OOPArt artifacts, societal tipping points, and butterfly effect. This is my fourth one. This is my fourth one. Ley lines. The idea that there are potentially lines of energy, invisible lines of energy around the world.
Yep.
That possibly some of the ancient monuments and things like pyramids and stuff like that.
Cities.
A lot of churches.
Yes.
Cathedrals, that sort of thing. Have been built on. What's the spiritual significance? And also, is there a scientific reason behind this? I've had this idea, and it's not a novel idea. I think other people have had this idea. The pyramids, people have always said, how did they manage to get those big rocks in, those big stones there? What if those stones were levitated upon ley lines along, into place? That's my idea. Any thoughts on that?
You know what? There's so much energy behind those and thoughts, and cities are built on them. Good things happen, bad things happen. Very knowledgeable people at some point in time knew more about it than we currently do, I think. So it's definitely a fascinating subject.
There's definitely
to explore.
something there. And when you look at things like Stonehenge, for example, I think that's on a ley line.
Yep.
And it's circular. I wonder if they might have even been some sort of teleportation thing in the past.
Yeah, we don't know. It's interesting.
Well, we're going to find out because we're going to go down a rabbit hole.
We're going to deep dive into it.
We're going to go down that rabbit hole. Absolutely,
Great.
absolutely. So that's my one, Ley Lines.
Yep.
And then your final one.
Number 4.
Your final one, and then we'll wrap the show up. Your final one is the spell of the English language.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Yes. Well, English has become generally now a world language. So it's spoken as a first for many, but second language for a lot of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many words in there that have double meaning and triple meaning.
Yeah.
And if you're not aware of, some of the things like, when you talk about the admiral kind of language, and then you got the law language, you got the doctor's language. If you don't know what that all means, you don't know what they're talking about.
What we're talking about, like buzzwords and that sort of thing.
Buzzwords, but also words we say have meaning as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to think about what we say half the time, because we create spells with a lot of our words. Because that's the thing. It's words have power. And when you look at certain words historically, what did they mean? What do they mean now? And in what context do we put them? So it's worth thinking about.
Words have power, you say. Do you mean power as in actual energy?
Yes, and they create. Yes.
Negative or positive vibes?
Correct. Yes, negative and positive. So it depends on how we put our sentences together and what language and words we use.
Well, yeah, because like when I speak, what's happened there is I've thought of something in my head, and then I've had to like translate that into words that I think convey what I'm saying, and then I speak those words out of my mouth, and it travels through the air, through the sound waves. It goes in your ear, and then it has to go up to your brain, doesn't it? And then you have to translate it back to what you think it means. There's a lot going on there, and there's a lot that could be lost in translation.
There is, and then a lot of things have double meaning, like when you get born, you go through the birth canal, which is admiral language, that is seafaring language.
Oh, okay.
When you birth, right, you are born, you are birthing, so you're actually arriving at a port. Like so many things in the English language has got double and triple.
So depending on your background, I could say something to one person and they think something totally different than what I thought.
Yeah, and not only that, it has different meaning, which is also why, lawyers have a different language. You go to court,
lawyers,
but you go to court and you become a non-entity all of a sudden. And, someone has to speak for you because you are no longer there. So language, the English language is fascinating. So, worth a deep dive.
Well, we'll dive into that and find out a bit more about these spells and the energy that you're talking about there. Yep. So there we have it, folks. That's our contribution, our ideas
for tonight.
For tonight. So what we're asking you to do, these are the suggested conversations, the rabbit holes that we're going to go down. We've got number 1, out of phase artifacts. All right. Number 2.
May I interrupt for a moment?
Oh, of course you can. Yeah, it's your show.
Since they've made it this whole way through listening to us, I think that's pretty damn good.
Well, I think so.
And that means that they potentially might be interested enough now to actually vote and give us their suggestions.
This is what we want to know. Which of these do you actually want us to talk about first?
Yeah.
All right. So there's out of phase artifacts, number 1. Number 2, nature of friendship. Number 3, societal tipping points, the 100th monkey. Number 4, placebo nocebo. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. That's good. Number 5, the butterfly effect. Mm-hmm. Number 6, the power of breath. Mm-hmm. Number 7, ley lines. Mm-hmm. Number 8, the spell of the English language. So there's 8 there. I'll put them all down in the description down there, and we'll get you to tell us which one you think we should talk about first.
Yes, the first 2.
The first 2. We'll ask for the first 2. That's a good idea. And the way we can,
because otherwise it becomes this massive fighting numbers game. You know what? Vote your top 2, top 1
2
and top 2, and then we'll go from there.
And God knows how we're going to crunch the numbers, but I'll leave that to you because it was your idea. All right, so
It was my idea.
It was your idea.
Because I want interaction.
Yeah, well, you can figure out who we're going to upset.
I'll have to watch the comments.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so we're going to be coming to you live on a Tuesday.
Once a month
for the next 9 months. April, May, June, July, we'll do the first 4. Then we'll have a little reflection time.
Yep.
And then in August, and then September, October, November, we'll do the next 4.
Yep.
It'll be towards the end of each month on a Tuesday. We'll publish the date in advance each month.
Yep. So that you don't get triggered with a complete approved plan.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Commitment. But I have committed to the next one, which is April the 22nd, folks. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Brisbane time. And if you turn up...
Log it in.
Yeah, well, if you turn up a little bit earlier, you can have a vegan dinner with us.
Yes.
Thanks
There'll be 7 o'clock somewhere.
Of course it will.
Even at 6 o'clock if I turn up.
All right. Well, I enjoyed that. Thanks for doing that with us this evening, Carine. Thanks everyone for listening. Bye for now.
Bye for now.